Hi dear friends, today we are going to discuss on concluding experiments. In your chapter English for Special Purposes, module number 6, part A. This is a very short and little last part of the topic, concluding experiments. We have seen in my last video about describing experiments. So, in the describing experiments, what kind of a language to be used, we have seen in my previous video. While listening this video, I would like to suggest you to take textbook with you so that you can easily understand what I want to convey or what I want to explain. So third part of the topic is concluding experiment. Presenting conclusions is an equally important part of the laboratory experiment. There are some concluding expressions used while concluding experiments given in your textbook. But many times you have worked in the laboratory and did many experiments. At the end of the experiments, you have to conclude the experiments with some specific words. These words are: first, must, therefore. In your concluding statements, you should use these words: must, therefore. Second, this must be because. Third, dash depends on dash. Fourth, as dash simultaneous process. Fifth, if dash dash or dash dash will dash dash. Sixth, provided that dash dash, then it is observed that dash dash, then it is found that dash dash, and then the experiment shows that dash dash dash. So these are sometimes beginnings of the concluding statements, and sometimes some words you have to use in the middle of the concluding statements. Conclusions are drawn at the end of the experiment. They are always conditional. Sometimes the researcher is required to perform many actions simultaneously. In all these cases, the above expressions help us to present the conclusions logically. There are some experiments and there are more work you have to do during the experiments, more than one. So many actions can be performed by you simultaneously during the experiment. So in all these cases, the above expressions help us. Some expressions which I have told you, these expressions will help us to present the conclusion logically. Now, there are some concluding examples. First example is, if you hear the example, you will come to know what type of concluding statement should be there after the end of the experiment. I must therefore state that the litmus paper shows different characteristics when immersed in different types of liquids. This is the statement. Must therefore the word is used by you. I must therefore state that. Must therefore. When you use must, you are quite confident about what you've done. I must therefore state that. You are only say that must therefore if you do or if you did the things properly during the experiment. Litmus paper shows different characteristics when immersed in different types of liquids. So this is the experiment you have done already, and this is your observation. So you used the word must therefore. Second example is, if the liquid is acidic, the blue litmus paper will turn blue. If and will. If is a conditional clause, and if the liquid is acidic, whichever the liquid you have taken for the experiment is acidic. If the liquid is acidic, the blue litmus paper will turn blue. If and will. Once is a conditional clause and second is a your prophecy. Your conclusion. If the liquid is basic, the red litmus will turn blue. So if and will, these two words you can use in your concluding statements of experiments. Then third example is given here. It is observed that the blue litmus paper changes its colors when immersed in the HCl. It shows that HCl is acidic in nature. You know very well that HCl is acidic in nature, and litmus paper, if you immersed this litmus paper in HCl, that the color of the litmus paper will change. It is observed that. What do you say at the beginning of the sentence? It is observed that. So this it is observed that must be the beginning of your concluding statement after the end of the experiment. It is found that. Once again you can start your concluding statement with it is found that. As the red litmus paper remains red and the blue litmus paper remains blue in water, it is concluded that. The action you have to tell first. As, by using the word as. As the red litmus paper remains red and the blue litmus paper remains blue. This is the action. And this is observation. After using the litmus paper in a particular solution, and before that you use as. So the word as is quite important to say your observation, and then you can say that it is concluded that. After seeing or after observing the situation, you can say it is concluded that water is a natural liquid. So this is your observation. And if you point out your observation, you have to use some words like as, and it is concluded, it is found, it is observed, if, will, or must therefore. So these are some beginnings and some words you have to use at the end of the experiment. Then fourth point is report writing. This is final stage in the laboratory experiment, report writing. Last point of English for special purposes. This is the final stage in the laboratory experiment. One needs to write a detailed report based on WH analysis. One needs to write a detailed report based on WH analysis. WH analysis means you must ask why, what, who, where, which, and in your report there should be all the answer related to WH questions. For writing detailed report, you may use above words and expressions as per the need. We have seen many expressions and words in this lesson. But in your report, there should be the answers of WH questions. How many WH questions? There are many WH questions. Why, which, who, what, where, whom. So all these WH questions are there. You have to answer all these WH questions, then your report will be ready. By using the words we have learned in this lesson. In this way, the concept of ESP has been developed for understanding subject-specific characters of English. Subject-specific characteristics you must understand. If the subject is related to medical field, you have to use medical language, medical words. If the subject is related to engineering field, you have to use engineering words. If the subject is related to literature, science, according to that, the words you use changes. So mind it well that according to the subject, the language changes. It basically studies repeatedly used grammatical structures and vocabulary. It works on the principle that if you know a certain set of words, you can speak or write about the subject easily. Suppose you are belong to science faculty and there are many scientific words you know. You can easily speak in English because you have a sound vocabulary with you of science words. Generally the words used in the science. But if you want to communicate with the literary person, the person from literature, you cannot speak with him because you don't have a sound vocabulary of literary field. So as per the subject and as per the topic, you should develop your vocabulary properly so that you can easily understand and you can easily speak, or you can easily write with the help of concerned words or related words to the particular field. So here ends the topic English for Special Purposes. We will see some next few chapters in my next videos. Thank you.